Hey guys, yesterday Fabiano Caruana has defeated Alireza Firouzja in a chess game in just 9 moves. I will show you this game and I will also show you top 5 fastest wins or losses by top GMs of the present and of the past, including several world champions who have defeated their opponents, also strong masters or grandmasters, within just 10 moves and sometimes even within like 5 or 6 moves. Some of those games are instant classics, others you might have not seen, so let's dive into this. But first, let's take a look at the yesterday's game. So Fabi is playing with the white pieces. By the way, have you seen my podcast with him? If you haven't watched the podcast episode with Fabiano, check it out. The link is in the description. It's been a great discussion. So, okay, Fabi starts with c4, and we go into the semi-Slav defense. Usually white goes here d4, but Fabi chooses a trickier approach. It's the English opening. And knight e5 is not a very popular move, but it's a move. It attacks the bishop has to retreat, and here also many moves are possible, including d4, including bishop g2, but queen b3 is what Fabi plays, and Alireza almost instantly responds with queen b6. So the idea, of course, is that if white takes, the a file gets opened, and black is very comfortable in this position. This rook is very active. So none of the players want to take the other's queen, because that would open up the file for the rook. Here white takes the pawn, and suddenly it turns out that there is a trick in this position that Alireza fell into. So Alireza took the queen because he decided, you know what, I have this bishop e4, a beautiful move, forking the rook and the pawn, and then black can take back after f3, for example, take back with the bishop, and black is very, very comfortable in this position because these pawns are vulnerable. But here, Fabi unleashed pawn takes c6. And he also spent some time thinking about that move. That could have been a psychological trick to trick Alireza into thinking that Fabi has blundered. So Alireza took the rook. And after rook takes a7, resigned the game because it is losing. It is losing because rook takes a7, c7, and you can resign. You can resign because either I will take here or I will promote the queen with a check, and it will be a checkmate. For example, rook a8, c8 queen, checkmate. So Fabi won in just 9 moves. This is crazy. This is unthinkable at this level, you could have thought. But no, this is not unthinkable at this level. This has happened in the past. Similar victories by also very strong opponents over very strong opponents, sometimes featuring world chess champions. Let's take a look at another game, Karl Schlechter versus Julius Perlis. Schlechter was one of the strongest players of his era at the beginning of the 20th century. He played a match against Lasker, the second world chess champion, and almost defeated him. So he was like top 2, top 3 in the world for a long time. And he's playing with the white pieces against another strong player. And we see a similar setup also, the semi-Slav setup for black. Also bishop develops to f5, and you already can see where this is going. Queen b3, queen b6 takes, and it is very logical to take the queen and to go bishop takes b1, because remember what I told you, that this rook is very active on this file. So bishop takes b1. If the rook takes, then black just takes, and the rook is not active anymore. It has to spend another tempo to activate over the a file, and black is fine here. But Karl Schlechter does not take the bishop, but rather he takes the pawn on c6, a very similar motif. And here his opponent miscalculated probably. He went bishop e4 because he thought, okay, if c7, I just go knight c6 and I'm all right, I'm up a full piece, apparently. So what can happen here? If takes, I take back with the bishop, I'm also fine. What's the idea of Karl Schlechter? You already understand. This is rook takes a7, sacrificing the rook. And again, the opponent resigned. Here he played rook a7, and after c7 he resigned, because again, this will be either a checkmate or, for example, bishop here to protect, then queen in on b8 will win almost all the material, and probably there will be a checkmate soon, but white can also take the rook and be up a queen, so everything wins here. Another flashy victory. Okay, let's take a look at the third item on our list. Here we have a game by the world chess champion Alexander Alekhin, or Alekhine, against his contemporary Guillermo Moner. This game lasted just 6 moves. Take a look. e4, the Caro-Kann defense, knight c3, the two knights variation, black takes, all standard theory, knight develops here, then probably black wants to exchange, all normal, all theory, queen e2 sets a trap that Alekhine's opponent fell into. A natural move, knight f6, leads to a very bad ending. Knight d6, checkmate. Just wow, right? Just wow. Just a checkmate. Out of thin air, the game ends. Okay, let's take a look at a couple of other games in the list. Tigran Petrosian, the world chess champion, against Hans Reh. The English opening, all standard, 4 knights, knight d5, attacking the bishop. Black takes, white takes, e4, attacking the knight, which is a mistake, because white takes, black takes, and queen b3 leads to a resignation in just 8 moves by black, because the bishop is hanging. If the bishop retreats, c takes b7 wins that bishop. Black will have to give up the bishop, and black will be down a full piece. So black has miscalculated something here. e4 was a bad move. Black should have gone knight d4, perfectly normal position, but black has miscalculated. He thought, I'm exchanging that knight for that knight, but black forgot about queen b3 and resigned. Cruel. Chess is a brutal game. Now, last but not least, this is a game by the legendary Mikhail Tal, also the world chess champion, against Streicher. e4, d6. The game also lasted 6 moves. d4, knight d7, all standard. Bishop c4, g6. This is the modern defense, or the Pyrrhic defense. Knight f3. And here, you should play something like h6 or e6. But Tal's opponent played bishop g7 and got hit with a bishop takes f7. And instantly, he had to resign after 2 more moves. King takes, knight g5. This is a check. And there will be a checkmate soon, or there will be a loss of a queen, for example. King e8, knight e6 wins the queen. King f8, knight e6 is a fork, also winning the queen. And king f6 leads to queen f3 checkmate, because there are no squares for the king to go to flashy finish in just 6 moves. Resignation in 6 moves. Have you seen such impressive fast victories? Maybe I have skipped some of those that you remember. Write about it in the comments and stay tuned for the next videos. Bye bye.